Connecting. Here we go.
Maybe. I can't tell yet. Wait.
How much fun is this?
This is nuts.
Nuts. I can't stand it.
You have a production facility. I'm taping things with Scotch tape to paper towels.
What the fuck are you talking about? What production facility?
Whatever you're using.
I'm using my phone that's leaning against a lamp.
Okay.
And I've been trying to jerry rig it this whole time so it could lean towards me and it would be more flattering. I haven't figured that out. Whatever.
I'm holding an iPad that barely is cooperating.
Oh no, are you really? You need to lean it against something, Jay, so you can have hands free.
I'm going to lean. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lean, but you're going to look up my nostrils for the next 15 minutes.
All right, lie on the floor. Lie down.
Lie down on the floor.
Well, or sit on the floor.
Oh, look, it goes that way.
No, it doesn't, Jace. Now you're upside down.
Oh,
Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Lean it against something. Is that better?
That's better. Look, Dana helps me.
Dana, thank you, Dana.
You kids with your technology.
I can't stand it. I'm so happy to see you.
Nice to see you too. Look what all the lovely things behind you.
What thing? Oh, in the thing, I put this orchid here to make it look a little homey.
That's very nice. I have a clock, a lampshade's coming out of my head. That's terrific.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I can't stand it. This is so much fun, and thank you for doing this to help us raise funds for direct relief. We're trying to hit the 50K mark today. I don't know if we can do it, but we'll see if we can.
You're amazing. God bless you.
Well, God bless you, Jason. So Jason and I were talking earlier this week, and we were thinking, like, what shows might we talk about today? And
none of them. So
what'd you say?
Because we have seen and remember none of them. So
none.
Yeah.
So Jason suggested that we both watch the Chinese Restaurant, which is from season 2, so to speak. I mean, you know, our 13 order season,
right? And
as opposed to the 4 order season. And then we watched the Contest, which is from season 3 or 4. 4, yeah.
4, yeah.
Yeah. Did you watch?
I couldn't find the Contest, but I remember that one well. I watched the Chinese Restaurant, which that's a strange feeling.
Isn't it?
That was a strange feeling. Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin.
Well,
Cartwright. Somebody goes, Cartwright. God damn it.
Yeah.
He was so great, that actor.
Oh, James Hong, I think his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know if you had the same experience. I'm watching us and I'm going, we're close. we're
exactly
out. And it was such an unusual episode because there were no cutaway. It was really like doing a play, an under-rehearsed play. The stuff that was really funny was really funny. You had a couple of moments that made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
It was when you approached the maitre d' to do the tip. It was the moment before you went, how you doing? How's it going?
It's funny because, of course, well, thank you for saying that. But well, first of all, I loved it when you started screaming, we live in a civilized society. That's
society. Yeah.
Amazing. But I know what you mean because it's a really good episode, but there is an element of cringe watching it back, right?
You bet. And the reason I suggested that one for people that are watching is when I do live shows, people ask me about what's your favorite episode, and I don't know if you do. I don't have a favorite. I remember things about them, but I remember the Chinese Restaurant because we were barely on television.
I know.
Our fate was far from secure. And when we read that at the table, the network was so flummoxed to the point of hostility, of going, there's no story, nothing's happening. Why would you do this? You're alienating. And they kind of walked away. And I remember Larry saying, well, they didn't say we couldn't do it.
Right,
so
exactly.
They went full steam ahead. And I went, that is so ballsy. And it was the first time I remember thinking, sink or swim, these guys are going to do what they believe in. And that's the first time I went, I'm kind of proud to be on this thing, you
Oh,
know.
100%. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And that night felt particularly magical because we did sort of shoot it like a play, remember? I mean, normally, for those who don't know, when you're shooting a multicam sitcom, you do each scene a number of times in front of an audience, and then later you may go back even after the audience is released to reshoot scenes that still need some work. But in this case, we shot it sort of all as a piece, which was really thrilling. And the pace is the other thing that's quite remarkable is that the pace is so different from what the show became, right, Jace?
Well, you know, once the guys started really playing with, let's do 4 separate stories and find a way for them to dovetail, there was, you didn't have to cut, there wasn't as much cutting. We had longer scenes, and that's
Right.
a prime example of, you know, that was really one long scene with some movement as far as let's put somebody over there and put somebody over there and follow them. But it was all it was like a little play. It was a little play.
Yeah, it was a little play. And we were really young. I mean, that was, I'm going to say, I think that was 91 or 90.
Sounds good to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
something right in there.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But
mean,
so so funny. And what I loved, and you see it all over that episode, is they always gave us the time. They really believed in their words. I mean, you and I know if they wrote button, we said and then did another take. But they really gave us time between the language to find so much stuff. And so much of that episode lives on the anticipation of something, or the little play within it where it's just reactions. And, you know, most other shows were not given their cast that kind of time to linger and play and find. It was great.
yeah. And it was also, I mean, when you think back on that period of time, I remember feeling like it was like the inmates running the asylum. You know, I mean, we really had, as a group, and you know, led of course by Larry and Jerry, a sort of a real feeling of fuck it, we're just going to do this. And
Yeah, nobody's watching, so what the hell?
nobody's watching. Exactly. It was really, oh, by the way, when I don't know if you heard it, but when I go over to that table to try to take the egg roll, and they put all in this walla of the people at the table. Walla is sort of low background people talking that they put in after the fact, and one of those voices was Larry.
Clear as a bell.
I know. In fact, he was kind of out in front.
In fact, it was a table of kind of waspy-looking people with apparently one Jew somewhere going.
Totally. God. Oh, God. And you know what else, Jason, I was thinking about too, because of for you and me and what we did during that time. Remember how we would always walk onto the set, and there's sort of like the first order of business was, what's going to be my business on this set, right?
Yeah. We'd get up after the table, we'd step onto the first scene set and go, all right, what are we going to do with this? Because there was never, if for people that haven't seen a Seinfeld script, they're out there, I know they're available, but there's no real indicated business or activity or action unless it's really specific to the scene.
Right.
So just say, you know, Elaine enters Jerry's apartment and starts talking. Well, now what? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because the set was teeny tiny. I mean, that kitchen was the size of a minute.
I always say no one in their right mind, if they thought a show was going to run for 9 years, they would never have designed those sets, because there was nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to play with. You know, it was endless invention on our part to find any kind of life, particularly in Jerry's apartment, of something to do. You know?
Yeah. Well, very often it was that refrigerator. I mean, it was just the go-to, right?
Yeah, saved us.
I mean, it's sort of embarrassing, really, as I watch it, you know, but it's, oh, God, what a time. Somebody, oh, God, there's so many questions coming through that, I mean, it's all happening. Somebody asked, but I can't remember who it was. Somebody said, when did we realize the show was a hit? Did you have a moment when you realized it?
No, and I don't even, I mean, I know this is going to sound coy, but even when we were in that final season and there was so much
I
brouhaha,
know.
I always kind of felt like, yeah, I mean, I know we're on. It never felt like we were all that inside the stage, which I think served us really well. But I do remember
Yeah.
the first time I remember going, huh, I may have to rethink how this is doing is I think in season three, maybe four. I was doing a thing for Entertainment Tonight, and they were shooting B-roll. So the interviewer and I were just walking down the sidewalk up on Third Street, just shooting, just gabbing because they're not even rolling sound. And traffic is going, and a minivan goes by. It's an African American family. A little girl that I'm assuming is like 9 or 10 years old leans out the window as the thing goes by and goes, "I love you, George." And I went, "What? What is she watching? Who would I
Yeah.
think that was our audience, and that was the first time I thought maybe there's more people out there than I know about.
I remember when we were shooting the finale, and they had put up all of these. We shot the show on the Radford stages in Studio City in Los Angeles, and they put up all these barricades. Do you remember, Jace, on the street on Radford, because there were people with cameras on the street and telephoto lenses trying to shoot who was going to be in the episode, in the finale. And I remember thinking at that time, seriously? Who gives a shit? You know?
My publicist, I don't know if this came through you too. My publicist was asking me if I was willing to leak out some secrets for money, and I went, they'll kill us. I mean, how can you do that?
I hope you fired that publicist.
No, in fact, I gave him a raise.
And you made a fortune.
I'll turn them down. You bring them in.
Okay, so we're almost at 40,000. I've just gotten a text, and so I'm reminding people we're trying to hit 50K if we can do it. And you can click the link here, and I don't know, and then there's a link in the bio or something or other. So then I watched the
contest.
Wow.
It's pretty great. I mean, I remember it to this day just being. I remember when they talked about there's a show coming down in a week or two about this subject, and we went, how?
I was certain that the network was going to come in and just pull it. Absolutely. All week long. I was like, we were going to have the network run through whenever that would have been, I guess maybe Wednesday, I can't remember. And I thought, yeah, that's it. This is not going to see the light of day. And just to put this in context, so this is like early 90s, probably 93. I think it was before I had kids, so maybe it was.
I think so too. Well, no, you had, so Gabe was born in 92. I think Charlie.
Henry was born in 92.
Okay. And he's a little older than Gabe. And then Noah was born in 96. I think Charlie was a little after Noah.
97, yeah. Jason and I timed our families during this Seinfeld run.
Her kids too closely, you're going to see a strange resemblance.
But anyway, just to put it in context, it was, I mean, nowadays it feels like material that's out there is obviously more risque, and people are talking much more sort of openly about sex and et cetera, et cetera. But at this time, talking about masturbating in a primetime network television show was unheard of. Unheard of, and I might add, particularly unheard of for a woman to be talking about it. I mean, huh?
Right? And you don't win. Elaine doesn't win.
Right.
I mean, it was audacious on every level. How they got into it, they said it without saying it. How everybody, bailed out. It was, and the reason people ask me about that one all the time is I think, now, boy, memory is a strange thing, but my memory is that is the show where the term water cooler show, for at least for us, was born, because that show, I remember Jerry saying that they eventually could see the Nielsen needle within the episode, And we kept, by the time we started the episode, from the time we ended the episode, I think we doubled the audience in the episode. So people were calling other people as we were airing, going, "You got to turn on Channel 4, turn on Channel 4."
Really?
Yeah. And it was in the trades the next day. It was in, you know,
I don't remember any of that, but I take your word for it.
yeah. And
could you turn that off? Sorry.
Like, is where we stopped worrying about would we be picked up next year, was kind of after that season.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was
really, and I was laughing out loud. I have to say, I was just howling when Michael came over to Jer's apartment, and there's the naked lady. I had forgotten all of this, Jason. And there's this naked lady walking around in the apartment next door, and everybody's watching, and he's looking, I guess, with Jer. Were you there at the same time when he was doing that? I can't remember. I just watched it, but
I don't think I'm in that scene.
No, you're not in that scene. And so he's watching with Jer, this naked lady. He watches her for maybe 10 seconds, and then he just beelines it out of the apartment. It is drop dead funny. It is such a good joke. It really is. It's
and
just
30 seconds later comes out and slaps his money down.
I'm out. It's a really short period of time. It was just breathtaking.
He was very bound up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was just breathtaking. God damn it, that was so funny. I got such a kick out of that.
Such a fun one to do. I remember really just enjoying that whole week. That was also, again, I think, that was the first episode that Estelle Harris joined us. We had never met my mother. But
really?
We were two down on fathers for me, but we had never met my mother. And she came in and, first of all, looked so much like my actual mother, it's a little ridiculous. And
yeah.
And she was so much fun. And I remember doing the hospital scene with her where she was saying she was hungry. We were just rehearsing. She was saying she was hungry, and I was busy watching the lesbian shadow play on the hospital curtain. And out of nowhere in a rehearsal, I had a thing of Tic Tacs in my pocket, and I just threw it on her stomach. She lost it. And I went, I'm in love with this woman.
She was so funny. She was an amazing, and you know, it's interesting too, watching her performance there, because she's got that really mind-blowing voice, and her performance is I don't mean this pejoratively. It has a cartoon quality to it, and yet at the same time, it is 100% grounded. I believe every beat. Sure. Every word that comes out of her mouth. I really do. I mean, yeah. She was
great. And she and Jerry Stiller together.
Oh, forget about it.
When we were leaving the show, when the show was finishing up, I thought the only spinoff, and they should have done it, were the four parents at Del Boca Vista in Florida trying to get it. They, you know, for whatever reason, they didn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been amazing. That's actually a really good idea. God damn it.
Especially if you showed up, you know?
Well, yeah, for those who don't know, the guy who played my dad was an actor named Lawrence Tierney. Yeah. And he was, I'm pretty sure he subsequently passed. He has to have, right?
Yeah, he's pretty up.
And he was a old-time movie actor, and he played thugs. He was known for sort of this character actor who played thugs in movies in the like 30s or 40s and 50s.
Yeah.
And he was like a thug. He was scary as shit.
He was a little rough around the edges, and didn't quite. I remember when the crew came in on Thursday we would do scenes for them so that they could see what they were going to shoot.
Yes.
It was funny, and he got his first laugh, and he thought they were laughing at him, and he got
pissed.
Yeah,
he got pissed. I guess he didn't understand the show was a comedy. I mean, huh? And so, and anytime he got a laugh, he would turn and look at the crew or the writers who were laughing at him with. Well, it was scary, his reaction.
Certainly odd. It was really odd.
And then tell what happened. You tell that story.
Oh, that? Well, we we started noticing little things were disappearing from the set. You know, just little, oh, really little things, and couldn't quite figure that out. And we I guess we might have had a sneaking suspicion that maybe this gentleman had, you know, a little bit of a light fingers issue. And suddenly we're doing a scene. He's got a trench coat over his arm, and we had a knife set in a butcher block.
Yeah.
And he's got the large butcher knife in his hand, tucked under the raincoat. And you and I spot it, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And we kind of go over to Jerry and go, "Jerry, Lawrence has a knife." And Jerry, either
I'll never forget it.
brave or oblivious, just
A
turns
little of both. A little of both.
just goes, "Larry, what's with the knife?"
What's with the knife?
And I guess caught, embarrassed, whatever it may be, he startles for a second, and then he took it out and made the psycho screeching sound and mimed stabbing at Jerry. And we went, okay, all righty then.
Right. We're not going to see him again.
I think, yeah, Elaine's dad is going to have an untimely death. So.
And I remember too, he was making remember he made some sort of off-color comment to you guys. He sort of like opened up his jacket and he goes, "Hey, you want to see some naked pictures of Elaine?" That was the character the man who's playing my father. Do you remember that? It's like, no, that's not a great improv. That doesn't quite work.
Yeah, no. In the book, ingratiate yourself as a guest star. That's not rule number one.
I want to tell everybody that we made it to 40K, which is a great thing.
What amazing. So tell me a little bit more about Direct Relief. How did you get involved with them, and what is their specific mission?
Well, Direct Relief is an organization that's actually been around, I believe, since either the 50s or the early 60s. And they are an organization that is responsible for bringing support, medicine. They actually now, I believe, have a license to make certain meds at their facility, and they bring all of the PPE, all of that stuff, and they go to zones where there's been a disaster. They've been to hurricanes, tsunamis. They're always there helping people on the front lines, and they played a huge part in, of course, this pandemic that we're all God willing, living through right now, and they've been helping. They don't help just in the United States; they help globally, which is fabulous. And they're very, very. They're particularly focused on areas where there isn't a lot of support, which means, you know, what am I trying to say? Poverty-stricken areas where there are health centers that just don't have the gear because they're not a big fancy hospital in the center of the city or whatever. So they're all over that, and they're doing really miraculous work, and they're working around the clock right now. So they can use all the help they can get. So we're very grateful to them, for sure.
Good on you.
Yeah. How are you doing during all of this crazy pandemic?
You know, like you, my family is disproportionately blessed. You know, thank you, God and Jerry Seinfeld. I don't worry about paying the rent. I don't worry where my next meal is coming from. I don't have to work again. So the fact that there is no work is not fun, but it's not life-threatening to me. We're healthy. We're fine. I worry more for my friends who right now are running out of resources. And I worry, and you know, not financially, because I certainly can and do take care of my kids as needed, but everything that they are working on and excited about and had whatever momentum they had is at a dead stop. My poor son Gabe, who feeds off of interaction with people, is sitting in his house, and he's miserable. He's just miserable. So it is unnatural. It is unpleasant for me and my family, but it is not critical like it is for people I know and care about. And you know, we will step up when and as needed. But it's really scary. And I watch the news as you do, and you and I follow each other with social and political stuff, and I really feel for these people that are legit, you know, not the masked and camouflaged and weaponed folks that are out on the street going, you got to open this up. But the everyday people going, I'm in
Yeah.
either way. Either I'm going to die of this disease or I'm going to die of starvation. They're between a rock and a hard place, and my heart goes out to them because there is no good answer here. We were caught unawares, and we're
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. It seems as if that we were all caught with our pants down on this one, and certainly at the federal level, that's absolutely the case. But there's a vacuum of leadership there. But it's been an amazing opportunity for various governors in this country to step up, and so many of them have done so and remarkably well under such seemingly impossible circumstances. So, but it is definitely a terrifying time. But anyway, that's a good reason to be supporting direct relief. We don't have to talk about that much more, but
Charlie and Brad are with you, right?
yeah.
And Henry's.
And our son Henry's in Los Angeles. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, Charlie's the one who helps me set all of this crap up because I'm not exactly sure which buttons to push and blah, 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 blah. I'm looking at some of these questions, and here's a question that somebody sent in earlier. Jace, what 90s fashion choice do you regret the most?
Well,
And or which are you most proud of?
okay, so your assistant, who's wonderful, by the way, Charlotte, said to me, "Hey, do you have any stuff from the show that you might be able to show?" So I didn't take props. I have my glasses. I have the George glasses tucked away somewhere. But like a schmuck, and I will prove it to you. I have clothing that George wore for all 9 seasons. I have shirts, I have jackets, I have pants. Because I thought, oh, they're taking care of me. You know, I have an odd figure. I'm a 40 toddler. And so it's not to dress me. And I thought, oh, here's all 9 years, this trove of clothing.
Oh my
Then
God.
I found out that Charmaine Simmons, our wardrobe designer, was cutting my shorts and shirt sleeves short all those years. So I would look a little awkward, a little pudgier, a little dowdier. And I kept saying to her, this shirt fit last week, and now my shirt sleeve is, and she goes, oh, that dry cleaner, that dry.
I didn't know that.
So I have all these clothes. You want to see my proudest item?
Yeah, but you're gonna have to back up so we can see it.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Remember this?
What is that? Oh, Kruger Industrial Smoothing? Is that, what is that?
Remember when George was on the Kruger Industrial Smoothing baseball team?
Yes,
Wanted
that
he
is
wanted
good.
phone, and they called him Coco.
That is so good. Jason, that's amazing.
That's the stuff I got. I didn't get good. Did you get good stuff? Did you take good
I
stuff?
have one thing I was about to show. I took Elaine's wardrobe, which by the way, I can't even summon the courage to look at because those oversized jackets and with this
Shoulders.
wall of hair. Oh Lord Jesus, if I never see it again. But I have so much of that and the backpack and everything. But I was going to bring this. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? It's 3:30 right now. What we do, Jason, what I've done the last couple of weeks is we take a break at around this moment,
Huh?
and I'm going to go get more water and ask people to take this opportunity to go to the link and donate, and we will not talk so they won't miss anything. And then we'll come back in like 1 minute and talk again. And
Perfect.
then I'll show my prop that I
Uh,
have. I have a good one.
okay.
Okay. And thank you. Go to Direct Relief. Go to the link in the bio. Please donate. We're trying to hit a goal. We'll be back in 1 minute, whatever that means. Okay, I'm going to go get more water. That's my plan.
Me too.
I heard that. All right. Awesome. We're back. Somebody's going to tell me where we are with our goal. Okay, I'm going to show this prop. So I took this from the set. You probably will. You may remember. I took this from the set when we wrapped after the final episode. And I've got to get it out of the box. But it's the phone from the show. And Jace, I had you guys all sign it in your character name. Isn't that neat?
Fantastic.
So that says George Louis Costanza, 4898. Jerry Seinfeld, April 8, 1998. Cosmo Kramer.
God.
And then I signed my name up here, Elaine Marie Bennis.
Oh my God.
Isn't that fun?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, I gotta say. I love this thing.
Wow.
I keep worrying that the silver Sharpie's gonna come off, so I'm frightened to even touch it.
Shellac it or something, said the guy who knows nothing about these things.
Yeah, I'm not listening to you about that. I mean, really, honestly. Oh, somebody wants to know, can you talk about filming You Want a Piece of Me scene with Jerry Stiller? How much fun was that?
You know how many hits on YouTube that blooper has? It is. So here's the real thing. I mean, Jerry Stiller always made us laugh. Jerry, when I try to describe, Jerry Stiller always knew his lines, but for some reason, he didn't have a lot of confidence in the fact that he knew his lines. And so he'd kind of get in his own way, and they would come to him very sporadically. And he would get angry with himself as well that they weren't coming quickly. And that's where a lot of the internal rage of Frank Costanza would come from. But it would make for some really funny line readings.
Well, but also, Jason, this gesture that he did where he would look to the sky a lot, this was him trying to remember the language, right?
Yeah, exactly. And he did that line in the first take of, are you saying you want a piece of me? And you did exactly what you're doing now. And I have to tell you, when you go, very few people have the stamina to not go with you. There's something about your laugh that is just really infectious. And from that first reading, it gave us the giggles. And then you couldn't face off against him. And there's one take where you laugh, I fall off the bench I was sitting on. I can't.
Oh, you were dying laughing so hard.
I think we spent 15 minutes trying to just get that little exchange.
I remember actually shortly after that, Jer went on the Tonight Show or some late night talk show, and he brought that blooper reel that we just shot it to talk about what a professional organization he was running. Oh God, it's fun to watch the bloopers. I have to say, I don't watch the episodes themselves very much, but watching the bloopers, it really takes me back to the fun that we had.
The one that is, most people don't realize it's a blooper, but it just makes me so happy, was at the end of the parking garage.
Yes.
When, we had been shooting late and everybody was tired and we were all giddy. And our director kind of lost it on us because we just couldn't hold it together. And he said, "Hey, God damn it." And that was the take where really only you and Michael were exposed to the camera. Jerry and I had our backs to the camera. And he tried to get that air conditioning in the trunk of that car, and he split his lip wide open. And you, in trying not to laugh, the tears are coming down your face, and you're trying to make it work for the scene. And Michael, who never breaks, looks at you and goes, "It's not funny, Elaine. I hurt myself."
I hurt myself, Elaine.
Only makes it worse. And how we got, because that's the take that's in the show.
Is that, did they keep that line from Michael?
No, they didn't keep the line, but it is that take. You see him hit.
And then we got a gift from the Lord above.
Oh yeah. I mean, the last moment was supposed to be the car starts, we drive off. And then we got in that car and that car would not start.
That's right.
We are
You can watch that and you can see, and I'm pretty sure it's you and me, right?
Where?
In the back seat.
No, it's me and Jerry. You're in the front passenger seat. Jerry is hitting my shoulder in the back. He can't breathe. He is hitting me so hard.
It was phenomenal. And what made it particularly juicy was that we were under massive pressure to get this done. I want to say we practically shot all night. I remember lying on the floor getting touched up by hair and makeup. It was like 3:30 or 4 in the morning, and we were exhausted. And so there was a lot of pressure. So that was an amazing episode. That really was.
It's great.
God, that was fun. That was so much fun. Okay, guess what? We're at 49,283.
Come on, you're going to make it.
We're going to make it. I think we're going to make it. We just have to keep yakking. We're asking people, please donate. Please donate. Summer of George. People keep bringing up Summer of George, talking about it like it's sort of like right now. Yeah. People are in sweatpants and at home.
So I know what I get yelled all the time. What do people yell things to you? References from the show? What do you get?
I get, well, of course, recently tons of can you spare a square, because everybody was inexplicably hoarding toilet paper, which I'm not sure I still understand, but whatever. And then people want me to dance a lot.
And I remember you being so mortified by having to do that. You did it so brilliantly, but I remember you saying, this is so not good for a woman. This is so not good. Because you were convinced that everyone would think, oh, she has no sexuality. There's just, if she can't move and dance, they would confuse you. They wouldn't know that you were doing this.
Well, I'll tell you, if I'm ever at like a wedding or anything and people are dancing and I start to dance, I feel eyes on me, because they want to see how without rhythm I really am. Yeah. And I'm proud to say that I do have rhythm.
You move beautifully.
Thank you, Jason. The whole purpose of this conversation was to hit that moment right there.
Accomplished.
Sweet Fancy Moses, somebody just says. Yeah, totally. God damn it. That was so humiliating, but fun, really fun. And I remember the night before, my mom was visiting us at the time, and I just stood in front of the mirror and just tried to come up with really awkward looking movements, and I sort of got it down to 2, and I came downstairs and I showed them for my mom and my husband Brad, and they both voted on that one, which is why, so we really have them to thank. I don't remember what the other option was, but
it was brilliant. I mean, that was one of those things that they would throw, well, everybody, but when they would throw you something like that and they go, she'll figure it out. It had to be an awful dance. What do you do?
Right.
What do you do that doesn't look completely ridiculous, that looks like somebody thinking they can dance?
Right. That's the thing. You have to have full confidence in those moves. And Elaine certainly did. And they had to turn the music off. There was music, and they had to turn it off when we were shooting. Do you remember? Because it was impossible to do those arrhythmic moves while music with rhythm was going, you know? It would end up looking a little better somehow.
Yeah.
What else? I'm trying to think of other questions. Was it strange for you being the only woman out of the main characters? Yeah, I guess it was a little strange. It was a little strange for me. I mean, but I liked it. It was we were a small group, so it had a sort of specialness to it. But it was also very, maybe it was a tad lonely sometimes to a certain extent.
Well, not only were you the only, really the only woman in the cast, but with the exception of, we always had women on our set. I mean, actors and crew, but very rare. I think in the entire time we were there, I think we only had 2 or 3. We had 4 women in the writing staff over the years. They were never 4 at the same time.
Yeah.
And to have anybody that could sort of see the world from a female point of view, not necessarily just an Elaine point of view, but a female point of view, were few and far between. And
to a certain extent, I would say that the show well, no, this is going to sound weird, but I think there was a benefit to this to a certain extent, only because when I did get material on the show, it was not necessarily gender specific.
I
So a male or female character could be playing this, and that's a testament to Larry, really, and Jerry. Although sometimes I had to sort of shake them a little bit to get more material, as you know, particularly in the beginning. But because the material was good, and I just wanted to be, I wanted to play as much as possible.
well,
But
there's a famous story that's always told about me and Larry, and it's true, but I don't know if you know what was really behind it. So you remember the episode The Pen that I was not in, Michael was not in. It was when you and Lane and Jerry went down to Florida.
yeah,
And it was an episode that happened shortly after you were hired for the show. And
was that in the first four? No, it wasn't.
I think it was either in
No.
the first or it was in the next group of 4 in the second season. And I kept saying to Larry, I think, so explain how the difference between the way George relates to Jerry and the way Elaine relates to Jerry, if she's not his girlfriend, she's just a friend, like a best friend. And he went, yeah. And he went, well, then what differentiates her from George? And then they wrote me out of an episode. And that's when I came back and went, Larry, you took me from a really good career in the theater in New York, and that's all I ever wanted. Now, this is great, but I've turned my life upside down to be here. And if you don't need me to be here every week, just write me out. I'll go back to what I was doing. And he was like, what? How do you make 4 characters? It really freaked him out. And in retrospect, I'm very sorry I sort of pinned him against the wall like that. But one of my fears was that they were so infatuated with you that you were going to be the best friend. And I was going to go, well, there's nothing I can do. That's a far more intriguing character, a girlfriend who's now just a friend. Why would they put me in a scene if they have her?
Oh,
And
that's so amazing. I didn't know about any of that.
yeah, and eventually, I guess because I did say that to Larry, they really did find the differences between George and Elaine. But my initial fear was, this doesn't need to be a 4-person show. It definitely needed a woman, but it didn't necessarily need me once that woman was established. And
God, I don't think that's the case at all. Personally, I felt as if your character was quite clear who he was from the absolute get-go, Jace. That was my impression anyway. And I was sort of trying to figure out who I was playing for a while until it sort of started to set in. But it's interesting because then maybe, I mean, who knows? I don't know. It'd be interesting to see what Larry would say about that. But this intertwining of storylines, which is very much the DNA of the show, I don't know. Maybe it was born from that conversation. I mean, I don't know.
I do know that shortly after I said that to Larry, and it was really early on in our journey. I knew that episode was up early. And what happened very shortly after that, and people ask about it a lot, because people thought somehow the 4 of us knew each other before the show. And I said, every one of these people we were all new to each other. And it was shortly after that I remember getting up to rehearse scenes and starting to not be so concerned about, is my stuff good? Am I going to have a job? And just going, they're really good. They're really good. They're really funny. These people around me are really funny. And that's when I remember we all started saying in rehearsal, hey, if you do such and such,
Yeah.
I think that'll be fun for you. Or this is not a George line, like in the Lane thing.
Right.
And started to look out for each other. And that's when I think that ensemble really started to click.
Click. Yeah. No kidding. It really did. There were so many. It was a complete ensemble, and it was just a treasure. God, that is just amazing. I didn't know that story at all. That's incredible. And we hit 50K.
Hey!
We're at 51,000. Oh, fuck you. Yeah. That is so, all right. We've bumped the goal to 60K.
That's how you roll.
We just bumped it. That's awesome. Yay, Jace. Isn't that nice?
Look what we can do.
Look at what we can do. Um, let's see. What else? Oh my God. The
What I have one for you. What were you working towards, if to the extent that you can talk about anything, before this hit? Your movie had just come out.
Wait, what?
Before COVID hit us.
Oh,
What else were you working towards? Because you have a whole production company going, and your movie had just come out.
yep. My movie came out, and uh, I I made a deal with Apple,
Uh-huh.
and I've made a deal with Apple, and so I'm developing stuff right now, looking for material to do with them. So actually, I'm using this time to read a lot. And I need the time to read a lot because I'm a very, very slow reader. But that's actually what I'm doing right now, and thinking about what my next step is going to be. I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I want to keep working. I love working. I know you do too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine when we're going to get back onto a set, but I guess, that will happen at some point, right? I mean,
That I was working towards, more from a directorial side, but was all in the world of live. And I don't know when people are going back into theaters again. So
right, right, right. God. All right. Well, it'll happen. It's all going to be fine. We're all going to be fine. It's okay. It's okay.
it will.
Um, somebody says, "Where's George's toupee? Did you keep that? That shitty toupee?"
I don't have that shitty toupee, but I still have the one that I wore in real life for 2 years after the show.
Yeah, that was a mistake, I think, probably.
Well, it certainly didn't do what I was hoping it would do. I only did it. I wasn't trying to fool anybody.
Right. No, I know.
I had lost 3 roles because they couldn't imagine. They didn't want to cast the guy that looked so much like George.
Oh, got it.
How about hair? How about really? You can't imagine me not looking like George? And so okay, I'm gonna shove this right up their ass. And I just put it on and went, how about now? Do I look like George now? Apparently I did. I looked like George with a bad toupee. So it didn't work.
What was that show when I pulled the toupee off your head?
I think it was called the toupee, frankly.
It was called what?
I think it was called the toupee.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Hang on, I'm going to make sure my wife's phone machine is not answering.
All right. That was a show. I'm going to just keep talking as if you're there.
Yep.
That was a show in which you got hurt. Remember this?
Yeah, that was nobody's fault, but I did get hurt. Yeah, so you had to throw it out the window, and
I
you
had
had
to
to do a line, and you were holding the Venetian blind up by the cord. And what was supposed to happen is I was supposed to stick my head out the window, and then you would let the blind fall on the back of my head. And we just mistimed it, and you let it go, and my forehead went right through that thick bottom slat.
Oof.
It was an owie.
It was an owie. It was a bad owie. But it's actually was it that very take that made it into the cut?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too, Jace.
Yeah.
I think so too. And another piece of business that we did that was really fun together was, oh my God. Well, wait a minute. Can we just talk about you running out with your pants down? You want to be my latex salesman?
Well, that was at Jerry's ad lib, which was brilliant.
Oh my God, that was so funny.
But yeah, running out of the bathroom, yelling, "Say Vandalay, say Vandalay."
Say Vandalay. Oh, it's so great. It was so great.
See, that's the stuff, talking about what we said before. George comes running out with his pants around his ankles and falls is not written into the script. That's the stuff we found.
Right.
I'm supposed to be yelling from the bathroom.
Right.
So
that's right. That's right. And in the Nip episode, remember that?
I do.
So that was business we came up with in rehearsal when you said to Elaine, "Hey, I didn't get a Christmas card. How come I didn't get a Christmas card?" because Elaine's nipple was showing in the Christmas card. Hey, wait a minute. And then she grabs your.
Yeah, you put me right in the cleavage.
Right here. Yeah, exactly.
Loaded
That was fun. That was fun to find in rehearsal. But what was that? That was based on somebody's Christmas card and his dick was hanging out of his pants, right? And didn't we see that?
We did. It was a gorgeous shot of a dad and his son. The dad's in a robe, the kid's in pajamas. It's Christmas morning. The kid is holding up his new toy, and the dad is kneeled down, you know, with his arm around his kid. And you look at it for about 30 seconds before you go, "Are those his balls?" And he had sent it out to everybody.
Sent it out to everyone. I think the Christmas tree was even behind them, as I recall.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember seeing that. And like you say, you don't see it right at first. And then you definitely see it.
Yeah, you're just looking at this kid and the toy and the tree and the love. And then you go,
God. And remember, Jace, remember when we were in New York and we had shot the cover of Rolling Stone with Mark Seliger, and we thought we were starting to feel kind of full of ourselves a little bit, right? And we went out to dinner on Columbus Avenue, and we thought we'd sit outside as the four of us and sort of like blow everybody's mind because we were all sitting together having dinner. Nobody paid any attention. Nobody gave a shit.
Nope.
Right?
There was one woman who was batshit crazy who came over asking Jerry for directions to somewhere with no reason whatsoever about it.
Right.
Yeah. We were not even an asterisk. New York basically just went, "Fuck you guys." So
yeah, that was a good one. That was incredible, actually. It's nice. It was good. We were put back into our places. What were you doing before? First of all, how did you first get hired? How did you get this job?
It was the only thing that was unusual about it is that nobody from the show was at my audition. So I guess they had seen a bunch of people in LA. I know that they had made a couple of offers to people. Like they really tried to get Annie DeVito. They really tried to get Paul Schaefer. And I think Jerry even made an offer to Chris Rock at one point. For whatever reason, it didn't happen, didn't work. So they had not done any casting out of New York, and they must have called a New York casting director and said, just put 20 guys that are kind of like sidekicky guys on tape with these 4 pages. And all I had was 4 pages of the pilot script. I knew nothing about the show, and I looked at the pages and went, this kind of reads like a Woody Allen piece a little bit.
Yeah.
That's where the glass came from, and that's where, I mean, I have a hint of a New York accent, but that's where the really blatant Woody Allen,
Yeah.
And that's how I did those 4 pages, and I went, I'll never see that again. A week later, I got a call from Larry, who I'd never met, and he said, "Yeah, we love it. Come on out. You'll meet Jerry, and you'll read for the network." And I went out, met with them at Castle Rock. We ran through the scene, and they said, "Yeah, just love the New York. Just tone the blatant Woody Allen down a little bit." And then I went to NBC and read against one of Jerry's best friends. Larry Miller was the only guy there. And I knew they were friends. I didn't know Jerry, but I knew Larry Miller and Jerry were friends. And I went, I'm not going to get this.
Of course. Yeah.
So I was loosey-goosey in the room. And
that's probably why you got it.
Yeah, I got back on a plane. And by the time it landed, they went, "To you."
Wow. Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
And that was in 89.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had won a Tony Award, and I had just finished Pretty Woman. And I think the connection came from Gary Marshall to Penny Marshall to Rob Reiner to Larry and Jerry. I think that's how it went. But
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. God. I'm just getting a thing saying that they have to shut. Apparently, InstaLive only goes for an hour. I was about to say, did you know this, Jason? But you're new to Instagram.
I am brand new. Yeah.
Okay, so in a couple minutes we're gonna have to sign off. But really quickly, somebody wanted to know, how did I get the part? I knew Larry David from working with him on Saturday Night Live. he was there my 3rd year. I was there for 3 years, and he was there my 3rd year. And we were both kind of miserable there together, and we bonded. And then a few years later, he sent me these 4 scripts, because you guys had already shot the pilot. And in 2 of those 4 scripts, I had some stuff to do, and the other 2 I certainly did not. And then I went in and I met with Jer and Lair, and it was very, again, loosey-goosey, and that we made a deal over the weekend. I mean, it was like, because I'd already been on NBC doing, well, SNL, and then of course I did this show called Day by Day for a couple of years, so they sort of knew me, so I didn't have to go through the rigmarole of going to network and auditioning there, and that's how that worked. So anyway, and then we were shooting it like immediately. It was very quick. We shot that in the winter, I think.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, well, you're a dreamboat for doing this, Jace. Thank you so much.
You call, I come. I adore you. I have from day one. I miss you terribly.
I miss you too so much. I may ask you to do this again just in case. And I want to just tell everyone, please go to the link in the bio, or you can click it, and that would be awesome. Please donate to Direct Relief. It's been fantastic that you did it today. And Jason, I love you so much.
Thank you, baby. You too. My love to the family.
Yeah, you too. Love to the family.
All right, babe.
Love you. Now we have to figure out how to turn this fucking thing off.
I think I do this.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm hitting an X.
Okay, I'm pushing end.
All right.
Bye.